In solo leveling, after Thomas Andre left the International Guild Conference saying he would like to give Drippy Woo a gift of gratitude for letting him and his guild members live, at the same time at the Korean Hunter Association, Chairman Gunhee thought it was strange that his heart refused to stop shaking these days, saying his heart had been like this for a couple of years now, and he felt that it was getting worse by the day, asking himself if this was his limit. The doctor had told him that he could potentially lose his life within half a year if he kept overworking himself like this. But since then, 2 years have passed and he managed to get to where he's at, saying he should be thankful he's managed to hold on for this long. The phone suddenly started ringing with the chairman's wife shouting and asking if nothing happened to him today, making the chairman close his eyes, leaning back against the chair, saying she was worrying too much since he was already about to go back. But before he could finish his sentence, he noticed that something was dangerously wrong. He asked himself what the hell was going on and how something like this could happen, until ultimately noticing the presence of the Monarch of Frost. The chairman questioned if it was possible to even have a proper conversation with such a being, since he couldn't even sense the moment he arrived and wasn't someone who he could take on his own. The Frost Monarch stated that this place had already been isolated from the outside world, making the chairman question if he was actually dreaming right now. A projectile suddenly hit the chairman's left shoulder, and after it crystallized, the Monarch told him that if he was really dreaming right now, he wouldn't be able to feel the pain from that attack just now. The chairman finally realized that he wasn't dreaming and nervously asked the Monarch who he really was. The Monarch responded saying he was hoping he would be able to recognize him without having to say anything, but it looks like he's really just a mere human after all. The chairman questioned what he meant by mere human, until the Monarch suddenly started charging up his power, saying he wasn't interested in messing around with weaklings, telling the fragment of brilliant light to reveal itself at this moment. The Monarch of Frost then asked if he was worried about his vessel breaking after doing so, telling him not to worry since it's bound to break sooner or later no matter what he does. He went on to say that if he was really worried about something like that, then this conversation was pointless, blasting a massive attack towards the chairman, which hit him point blank, creating a huge explosion. "We meet at last," the Monarch stated while watching glowing eyes stare at him through the smoke. The Monarch suddenly blasted another projectile towards the smoke, flying towards him at immeasurable speeds. But before it could make impact, the chairman quickly smacked it out of the way with ease, sending it flying outside of the building, which created an enormous hole on the wall. Exuding with overwhelming power, a being that was not the chairman of the Korean Hunter Association stated that it wasn't a bad move to isolate his office from the outside world and trap it in a dimensional crack. The fragment of brilliant light finally awakened in the chairman's body, making the Monarch say that he had been looking for him for a long time and didn't expect him to be struggling to use his true power while being trapped in a broken vessel. He went on to say that they had already found the locations of all 7 of his fragments and that they've already unalived 2 of them, saying that he only wanted to see the embarrassment on his face before destroying him, and now that he's seen it, he would unalive him without any regrets. The fragment shouted, telling the Monarch to try it and see if he could. The Monarch responded saying it was foolish to choose to fight against him since he was merely borrowing the body of a human while he had already completely conquered one, asking if he could even land a single hit on him. The Monarch suddenly crossed his arms, launching an ice attack towards the chairman, but he quickly extended his head backwards, headbutting the attack with absolute power, completely shattering the ice to pieces. The chairman went for a blow point blank, but the Monarch quickly counterattacked, launching an ice spike to his face, which the chairman barely managed to dodge. The chairman suddenly went for a left hook, but the Monarch quickly raised his hand before the blow could make impact, completely freezing the chairman's left arm, stopping him in his tracks. But he wouldn't let something like this stop him, quickly breaking out of the ice, as a battle faster than the eye could see ensued between both entities. The chairman thought to himself that he needed to finish this fight quickly while he could still move, launching a full-powered attack towards the Monarch, making him quickly create an ice shield in order to block it, which only managed to launch him backwards. But as the chairman was ready to go after him, he suddenly fell to his knees, questioning if this was his limit. The Monarch of Frost noticed this change in the hunter, saying how pitiful it was since he must have reached the limit of his vessel. The Monarch suddenly disappeared from the chairman's view and then quickly appeared before him in the fraction of a second. cleaving an ice blade right through his chest, making the chairman bleed from internal damage. The Monarch then smiled, asking the fragment how long he thought it would take him to find a new vessel, maybe a year or two, saying it didn't matter since they had already gathered most of their forces, meaning this world would be destroyed before he even got the chance to come back. He went on to say that his only mistake was trying to protect this world, and asked if he really thought he could defeat him without any of his guards. The fragment started laughing abruptly, suddenly gripping the Monarch's hand in place, asking if he really thought he fought against him for no reason, saying that just how the rulers weren't able to predict that the Monarchs would follow in their footsteps, there was something important they had also missed as well. The Monarch questioned what he meant by that, until the chairman's body suddenly started emitting a powerful energy, shooting a destructive blast towards the Monarch at immeasurable speeds. The Monarch barely managed to dodge the attack, making it crash on the wall, nervously staring at the aftermath of the attack that would have ended his life. After exhausting the last remaining magic power from his vessel's body, the Monarch looked back, smiling, saying that he had almost got him there, and asked him if this was the important thing he was talking about. The fragment responded, saying that was exactly right, seeing that the attack had broken through the barrier, creating a hole one could escape through. The Monarch questioned if that was really it, since he doubts anything would change even if this were to work. Now, the chairman spoke, making one of Sung Drippy Woo's shadow ants rush out of the chairman at full speed, escaping right through the hole the fragment had created. The Monarch questioned what a resident of the abyss was doing here, asking what a single soldier would do against. The Monarch suddenly saw the after image created by the soldier, making him realize that something really bad would happen if he were to let it go, quickly chasing after it. As the ant runs through the streets at full speed, the Monarch follows right behind, extending his hand backwards for an attack, quickly slashing the ant with all his might. The Monarch suddenly got shocked, seeing as someone had blocked his attack with ease, using but a single hand. Sung Drip Woo suddenly grabbed the Monarch by the throat, pulling him towards him, and asked, "Who the hell are you?" He responded, saying that he felt an overwhelming number of soldiers within his shadows, and asked him why he hadn't come into contact with the rest of the Monarchs after gathering such a significant number of troops. Reminiscing on the ice elf he had failed to extract a shadow from, Drippy Woo got irritated, saying he was forgetting about it until now. The Monarch questioned if he was the thing the fragment in the chairman's body had told him about, quickly charging up a breath attack and blasting Drippy Woo point blank, sending him up 10 stories. With his left arm being encased in ice, Drippy Woo questioned if he was a magic type, quickly summoning out his daggers and shattering the ice around his arm with ease. The Monarch then asked if they could stop here since he wasn't here to fight with their lives on the line today. Drippy Woo questioned what the hell he was yapping about, making the Monarch ask if he wasn't here to save the life of the human back there. Drippy Woo questioned what he meant by human, realizing that the ant he switched with was the one he had placed on the chairman, finally seeing the beaten chairman through the broken window. The Monarch then told him to choose, asking if he would be fighting against him or saving the human. He suddenly launched an ice spear towards his location, making Drippy Woo activate Ruler's authority in order to stop its trajectory. Unfortunately, the system informed him that the opponent's magic was resisting his skill, making him question what he should do in such a critical situation. Drippy Woo suddenly launched himself off the ground, throwing one of his daggers towards the spear. But the spear managed to evade the throw, making it head straight for the chairman's unconscious body. Drippy Woo quickly rushed in front of the spear, blocking the attack before it could hit the chairman, and launching it at a different direction, making it pierce through multiple buildings. Annoyed by the stunt this MF just pulled, and seeing how the Monarch had already opened a gate in order to escape, Drippy Woo summoned multiple daggers, launching every single one of them towards the Monarch with the skill Dagger Rush before he could leave. The Monarch managed to block 2 of the daggers, but the last one had managed to stab him in the back, making him angrily say that he was but a mere vessel, yet he dared to put a scratch on him, saying that he, the Monarch of Frost, would be retreating for now and would be waiting until the next time his shadows opened again, going on to say he should think of the nearly dead human back there as a nice little gift to add to his shadow army. Drippy Woo quickly looked back, saying he wasn't able to sense anything even after things got to this state due to the barrier, and that the chairman's injuries wasn't something he could heal with just a healing potion. Drippy Woo suddenly shouted for Baru, making him quickly zoom through the city towards him, arriving right in front of Rizzy Woo in the fraction of a second, and asked if he had called for him. Jin Woo shouted, telling Baru to heal the chairman at all costs. But after he attempted to heal him using his skill, he regrettably informed Drippy Woo that his healing hadn't worked on him. Seeing that the chairman's condition was getting even worse, he thought that maybe the holy water of life might be able to save him, but the chairman suddenly stopped his hand. "Please don't," he said in a shaking voice. The chairman then thanked Jin Woo wholeheartedly since he had come to help him, making Jin Woo ask him to wait a little bit more since he would get him to a hospital immediately, but the chairman responded saying it was of no use since nothing could be done after taking damage from those kind of attacks. The chairman went on to say that he had the opportunity to come in contact with a supreme being, saying that he knew of their plan and the remaining battle between them and the things they must do to survive. Jin Woo shouted for the chairman, seeing as how he was already on the brink of death and coughing up blood. The chairman said that he was truly relieved that he was here and is thankful for the power he possesses, thanking Jesus for this opportunity. The chairman went on to reveal that the gates and dungeons weren't for them and was simply a means they used to protect humanity, saying that one day he would encounter a moment where he'll have to choose which side he stood on, and sincerely requests and pleads him to remain on the side of the humans with tears in his eyes. In his final moments, the chairman went on to say how he always wanted to fight alongside young hunters like Jin Woo, but he knows it would have been impossible with a body like his. But still, he didn't regret a thing, since he could leave this world in the hands of youngsters like him. The chairman went on to narrate that his heart had been beating thousands of times and didn't realize that he didn't have much time left in him. But the reason his heart hadn't stopped beating until now was to meet him. It was all to meet him, saying it was a relief and thanks him from the bottom of his heart, shedding his final tear. The chairman's hand loses its strength, hitting the ground, and the ice created by the frost monarch shatters. The barrier that isolated the chairman also breaks into nothingness, leaving both Baru and Sung Jinwoo to grieve the legendary chairman's passing. The news of his passing had hit headlines everywhere in the world, along with the news of Brazil's greatest hunter Jonas being found dead in a nearby river, and that the S-rank hunter Sung Drip Woo had made his return to Korea. With the deaths of Christopher Reed, a national-level hunter, great hunter Jonas, and now the chairman of the Korean Hunter Association, the world went into a state of panic. The only thing that mainstream media talked about was the deaths of these hunters, something that even the U.S. Hunter Association issued a joint statement about. Humans are protected by the hunters, but who would protect the hunters? People questioned. The deaths of world-class hunters worldwide was a threat on a completely different level than any before. Jinwoo stood under the rain at the chairman's funeral and asked Jin Chul next to him if he was all right. Jin Chul apologized, saying he hadn't been himself these past few days, and asked Jinwoo if the monster that had taken the chairman's life was someone that was impossible to kill even with his power. Jinwoo responded saying there was nothing he could do since by the time he arrived he had already... Looking up at the sky, Jin Chul went on to say that it didn't feel real, saying that just yesterday, the chairman wanted to hear of his stay in the U.S. and had urged him to hurry back. But now he's... Jin Chul then thanked Jinwoo for trying his hardest to protect the chairman in his final moments. No, Jinwoo responded, stating that he would destroy it, swearing upon his life that he would destroy the monster that had unalived the chairman and would only accept his words of thanks then, telling Jin Chul to call the reporters for a press conference. After the chairman's death, the reporters crowded over to the press conference even in such tight spaces like moths to a flame. Jinwoo went on to state that a monster colony with high levels of intelligence were targeting world-class hunters, saying that they are far stronger than many of the hunters out there and didn't care about weapons or ways of unaliving. A reporter asked if by monster colony he meant that the monster who killed Chairman Gunhee was one of them. Rizzy Woo responded saying that these monsters specialized in blocking an open space with magic and then isolating their prey, stating that those who believe that they are bound to be prey to stay around comrades who are willing to protect them. Thinking back on the fucker who killed the chairman, addressing himself as the Monarch of Frost and the Monarch of the Beginning, those who address themselves as monarchs are impossible to win against even with the strongest hunters. Drippy Woo went on to state that those who didn't have any comrades of his description to contact him through the Korean Hunter Association.